His Excellency, Most Reverend Charles Brown, Apostolic Nuncio and Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, good evening, and thank you all for coming. Firstly, may I sincerely thank His Excellency, who is also our good friend Charles, for your kind words about Nurit and I. Many years ago, while I was serving in our embassy in Guatemala as a second secretary, I spoke with a friend of mine about the completion of my tenure there. He told me that he believed many hundreds of people would come to wave goodbye when the time came for me to leave. Surprised and flattered, I asked him if he really thought that I had made so many friends during my 2 years in Guatemala. His reply was, no, but many people will come just to make sure that you're really leaving. Ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you that I'm leaving in a few weeks. There is no need for you to be at the airport. We, Nurit and I, are coming to the end of our 5-year term in Ireland, and now is the time to remember, reflect, and ultimately to draw conclusions. I'm sure it will not come as a surprise to you to hear that a term spent as a representative of the State of Israel in Ireland is one of the more challenging jobs which our Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Jerusalem has to offer its diplomats. And I can assure you the challenges are not just because of the weather. My mission in Ireland was and indeed is to develop and strengthen the relations between our two countries. It was always my honor to serve my country as Israel's ambassador to Ireland. Of course, I will not hide from you that there were moments, hours, maybe even days that brought me some frustration in my role as ambassador. There were times when a small group of people stood outside my embassy chanting, Israeli Ambassador, out, out, out. First time at the day of my arrival, by the way. But it only strengthened my resolve and renewed my commitment to my mission to improve the connections between Israel and Ireland at all levels. I've always firmly believed that Israel, being the only real democracy in the region and one of the most vibrant, liberal and open democracies on the planet, is a country that can and should serve as an example to be emulated around the world. Its achievements in so many fields, in science and high-tech, in nanotechnology and cyber technology, in medicine, in agriculture, in literature, and in many other disciplines, fill me with pride and joy. During our 5 years in Ireland, Nurit and I met thousands of people. We fell in love with the Irish charm and sharp wit. We learned that when the Irish say, that's grand, it can have 1,000 meanings. We made many firm friends and so many warm memories which will stay in our hearts long after our departure from these shores. The similarities between the collective personalities of Irish people and Israelis were obvious to us from the start. Our warmth, our sense of humor and openness, our love and passion for life and for each other, these are the outstanding traits our peoples share. And when it comes to formalities, well, we are both among the least formal peoples on earth. I should also mention some differences between our two peoples. You, Irish people, talk about the sun and long for it almost every day. These days excluded, of course. We don't talk about the sun that much. We just make sure it shines over our heads almost every day. Israelis might leave a dinner or a party without saying goodbye. Irish people say goodbye, but they never do. Israelis speak their minds in the most direct way. Irish people veil the truth in a cloak of charm. Irish people are usually very obedient when it comes to following rules and regulations. Israelis believe that most rules are created in order to be bypassed. If you don't believe me, next time you go to Israel, rent a car and try the unique cultural experience of driving in our compact cities. Ladies and gentlemen, during the last 5 years, 2 Irish foreign ministers, Eamon Gilmore and Charles Flanagan, visited Israel. The Kankola Shon Barrett visited us, Ellen Shatter, the previous Minister for Justice and Defense, and the current Minister of Defense, Simon Covenant, and a delegation headed by the chairman of the Joint Committee of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Ted Breen. They also made a visit to Israel, among others. From Israel to Ireland, we had visits by the Speaker of the Knesset, Reuven Rivlin, he was heading a parliamentary delegation. He's now the President of Israel, which means that if you don't visit Ireland, you cannot be promoted. A cabinet minister who is today the current chairman of the parliament, of the Knesset, and there were more. Last year, the trade between our two countries reached the impressive level of €1 billion. There is no doubt that relations between us are on the rise, and there is cooperation in different spheres of life. In spite of the course of a small minority of people in this country who did their best to try to make us hate Ireland, I can assure you that they failed miserably. Nurit, our children, and I traveled around the country, perhaps not as much as we would have loved to, so we were able to enjoy the beauty of the country and its amazing landscapes. Dublin became our second home, and the many friends we had here made us feel welcome. Sadly, now is the time to pack our bags, fill our hearts with memories, and move on to the next season of our lives. I want to thank you all again for coming. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all our team in the embassy. We know that your professionalism and devotion will lead this embassy from strength to strength. I want to thank our colleagues from the many embassies represented here who are drawn from 5 continents. We have always appreciated your friendship during the past 5 years. We are grateful for the gift, which will be a lovely memento to decorate our new apartment in Israel. I want to thank Yoav and Nadav, our 2 children, young men, who studied well, made many friends, and gave us the space to work not only at the office, but also at home. One of the disadvantages of being a couple working together, by the way. And last but not least, I want to thank Nurit, my wife and deputy, or should I say, my deputy and my wife. It would not have been the same without you. We say at the end of our Passover meal every year, next year in Jerusalem. Let me encourage those of you who have never visited Israel to come and do so. And to those who have already visited, they need no encouragement, and I'm sure you will want to make a return visit. May we meet next year in Jerusalem. Thank you.